So in this lecture we will be finding the possible subspaces of R3. In the previous lecture I described how to find the possible subspaces of R2. Basically the subspaces should hold the same properties that a vector space should hold. So the properties for any vector set of vectors is to justify either they are closed under addition or multiplication or not. So similarly, for finding the possible subspaces of R3, we had set a rule that the zero vector should always be present in any subspace. So the first possible subspace of R3 is the zero vector, just like in case of the R2, because it should be closed. Any vector space that is actually, or any set of vector that is supposed to be a vector space, it should have at least the zero vector present in it, so that the property u plus 0 is equal to u. So that's why zero vector should be present in all vector spaces. The second property is any line passing through the origin. All right. So if you notice that, then the any line passing through the origin is actually not the subspace of R3, because it will be having only two components. So that's why line passing through the origin is not the subspace of R3. It might be 2 comma 1, or it might be containing or having any component. The next is any plane passing through the origin is the subspace of R3. This is true. This is also true. And for understanding this concept, let's consider the case where we are given a vector H that can have any component st, and the third component is fixed to be 0. So the vector space R2 is not the subspace of R3, because R2 is not the subspace of R3, since R2 vectors will be having only two components, while R3 vectors should have three components. So that's why when we will be adding any vectors from R2, then they cannot generate the vectors having three components. So that's why R2 is not the subspace of R3. Even it is not the subset of R3. All right, because for this subsets the components should be same. The vectors in R3 all have three entries. That's why let's consider this case that I was discussing with you guys. So H is equal to ST, where S and T are real and 0 is fixed. This is actually the subset of R3 that looks and acts like R2, because this component is fixed and it is equal to 0, although it is logically distinct from R2. Alright. Now we need to show that H is the subspace of R3. So I will show H is the subspace of R3. So the solution is, since this 0 vector is in H and H is closed under vector addition and scalar multiplication, because these two operations on vectors in H always produce vectors whose third entries are 0, and so they belong to H. Thus H is the subspace of R3. So for better understanding, let's say if I do, since S and T belongs to real numbers, so I can take any values of S and T. So let's say I will generate the first vector to be 2, 1 and 0, and the second vector v2 is equal to -1, 2, again 0, because this component is fixed as per the description. So if I will add v1 plus v2, the resultant will be 1, 3 and 0. Again, s and t belongs to real numbers, and they have generated a vector that can be represented through the vector h. So it is closed under addition. Alright, now let's see either it is closed under multiplication or not. For this, if I do choose v1 same as I selected before, and the constant c is equal to -2, then c into v1 is equal to -4, -2, comma 0. Again, this is certain vector that has two components s and t that belongs to real number. So this is closed under multiplication as well. Hence H is the subspace of R3. The third possible subspace of R3, R3 itself is the subspace of R3. All right. So if I have a plane in R3 that doesn't go through the origin, then it is not the subspace of R3, because the plane doesn't contain the zero vector of all R3. Similarly, a line in R2 through the origin is also not the subspace of R2. So that's why it is compulsory, if we are claiming any subset or the subspace to be the vector space of a given vector set, then it is compulsory that it should pass through the origin, because we need to actually justify the two properties of multiplicative inverse and additive. All right, additive identity and additive inverse.